Good morning, everyone, and welcome to SocialLIVE. I'm glad to be back.
We missed you.
I missed being on here, although you've been doing such a fabulous job.
Thank you.
I heard people are actually starting to call you Courtney.
On the streets, in my DMs, everywhere.
You're getting stopped?
I'm getting stopped on the street by paparazzi.
Oh my gosh.
All over the West Village.
Well, you're doing a great job. And,
Thank you.
And yeah, I have no complaints and no feedback for you.
Oh my God. Star for me.
2 stars for you. So anyway, we have a very special show. Stephanie will actually be back on the show next week. And
we missed her today.
Yes. And we have a lot going on. So as always, if you share this episode, you're going to enter to win. What are they going to win?
They're going to win a Silk Sonder journal. These are amazing. They're beautiful. I cannot wait to use mine. And our special guest, Meha Agrawal, is going to be able to tell us all about it when she joins us in a few minutes.
Yes, we can't wait to have her on. And as always, we're just going to hop right into the news. So let's kick it off, Jules.
All right, first up, we have a lot of new news from Apple about their new class of iPhones set to debut this September. They are rolling out 3 new iPhones. While users shouldn't expect a major redesign like an iPhone X year or an iPhone 6 year from 2014, they're referring to this rollout as an S year, which is their designation for a new handset.
Just a little update.
Just a tweak, but more internal software updates. So the 3 devices coming out are going to be, the first one is going to be the biggest phone on the market. How crazy is that?
How big is it going to be?
Everything's going for bigger screens, more expensive, obviously, because it's Apple. And then they also are upgrading some features internally so that users can view apps like Mail and Calendar side by side, which I think is really cool.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. They are going to be making some updates to the iPhone X. And the biggest update is that they're actually going to be rolling out a cheaper iPhone, which is definitely in demand.
You were saying you were really excited about that one.
Oh, yeah. Cheap is my middle name.
What's wrong with your iPhone now?
It's just old. It's the 7. It's fine. I love you. But, I could use an upgrade,
My strategy with iPhones is always this. I do an upgrade every 2 years. So I got the iPhone X next year, and I always skip the S years because it's nothing that, crazy. So I'm gonna sit out on this one.
I think this is my time for an upgrade.
This is your time?
This is my time. I haven't lost my phone in about 6 months, so I'm on a really good streak, and I'm hoping that maybe I can upgrade in the fall.
All right, well, you're gonna have to give us an update once you get your new phone, so excited about that. And then we have an Instagram update. So Instagram is actually updating their transparency feature. So I really like this update. They're going to add, and I believe it's only to verified accounts. Is that correct?
It's going to be, first, the rollout is to Instagram accounts with large followings. So
okay, yes. Large followings. And there are going to be 3 significant updates. So 1, there's going to be an About This Account section to provide users with more context about accounts with large followings. And then 2, there's going to be a form through which accounts can request the coveted blue verified badge. And then there's going to be support for third-party authenticator apps. I really like this update because you've probably seen there's a ton of accounts that have millions of followers, and we don't really know who's behind them.
Yes, I really want to talk about
this. You are excited about this.
I'm very excited about this. I really want to talk about the About This Account update, because this is going to open a lot of users' eyes, I think, to the legitimacy of an account. We actually have an episode coming out on IGTV about meme accounts, and a popular way to grow an account is buying other accounts. So
yes.
With this update, users can go on, see the About This section of a particular account, and see former usernames, who's owned the account before, when it was created, and things like that. Basically get all the information. And I wonder how Instagram, if Instagram is going to take action with these accounts, since buying accounts isn't exactly cool on the app. Instagram doesn't want to promote that. So I wonder if they're going to be shutting down accounts, even if they have large followings, because they've been bought by other people throughout the years.
I really can't wait for this to update because, to your point, I'm very, very curious about the history of these accounts.
Exactly.
I sense there should be like a documentary about this,
Ooh.
and I sense that maybe we should be the ones to do it.
Let me take a note. I love it.
Down.
Users are also going to be able to see the ads that account is running on Instagram as well, which is, again, huge update for them. Facebook and Instagram have really made a big push towards being more transparent with users, as that's a way to build trust and continue to build their audiences globally.
And beyond just meme accounts, there are also what I call category accounts. So, you have the accounts where it's the popular person or Instagrammer that owns it, and you know who that person is, or you think you know who that person is. And then you have the meme accounts, and usually they're pretty transparent with who they are. The meme creator will show up on their Instagram stories. But then there are a lot of accounts that are just, at fashion or at food or at cats, and you don't really know who those people are. So it's going to be really interesting to see who created these accounts and the history behind it. So stay tuned for that. And then our last update of the day is
YouTube.
YouTube. You want to do me honors?
Yes,
and hold the
I
sign?
will.
So YouTube is taking a page out of Facebook and Instagram's book, and they are also developing a feature for time well spent. So they are going to track how much time you're actually spending on the platform, and they're going to let you know how much time you're spending on the platform. And I don't know, what are you going to do with this information? Maybe cut back, maybe
I don't know.
Ignore it.
I love YouTube.
How many hours do you think you spend on YouTube?
Honestly, before bed, I
After work.
probably spend at least like an hour and a half watching Andy Cohen, Bravo recaps, Kardashian recaps, and then I love watching like the late night segments and stuff like that. But I spend a lot of time on YouTube. I don't want to know how much time I'm spending because it's embarrassing.
So I'm reading here, they also have an option to have their push notifications sent in a daily digest as opposed to having them all come through at one time. So you'll get a daily alert saying, hey, you spent this amount of time on YouTube today.
I don't know. I'm nervous. I think it's really cool that all these platforms are rolling out these time well spent features. We're still waiting on Instagram's features to hit the app. I keep checking every day because I'm very curious about how much time I spend on Instagram. But I think it's a really interesting feature for all these platforms, but I'm also very nervous.
Yeah. I like this too, though, if we could use it for advertising purposes and say, okay, we want to target the people that spend 3 hours on this site today.
Yeah, 8 hours a day.
They're likely going to see this ad.
Exactly.
All right, without further ado, let's bring on our very special guest, Meha Agarwal.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes.
I'm so happy to have you here. We actually met at a networking event maybe it was like earlier in the summer.
Yeah.
And I am just obsessed with Silk Sonder and everything you're doing. So can you tell our audience a little bit about Silk Sonder and your background, how you got here and started a business?
Yeah, absolutely. So Silk Sonder is a monthly planner and journal subscription service that empowers women to reflect and rejuvenate by first leveraging the power of pen to paper. So really the inspiration behind this is there's a lot of self-help resources out there, and we are on a mission to relabel self-help to self-investment because it's the lowest risk, highest reward.
Love that.
And repackage that experience to be more personalized, accessible, and actionable. So inside each Silk Sonder, we've got a little bit of the planner component with your traditional calendar layouts. We've got guided journal prompts aligned to a specific theme, and then we have, bullet journal inspired layouts like habit trackers and mood trackers and things of that sort.
So actually, while you're talking, I opened up to a random page, and I think this is something we should do at the end when we're done with questions. You can say what you're currently loving, feeling, enjoying, anticipating, wishing, reading, or watching and planning.
Oh yeah, let's do that at the end.
Play that game at the end.
Yeah.
All right, back to questions. So, once you made the decision to start a business, what were the first steps to get things up and running?
Yeah, so actually, my now co-founder, Joe, and I were working on a different idea at the time, and we accidentally came about with this idea for Silk Sonder because we were trying to hold each other accountable from the books that we were reading and articles that we were reading, et cetera. And so what was interesting was we wanted to approach it totally differently. So there's this concept of MVP, launching your minimum viable product, and we really wanted to start scrappy. So we took a printer, printed out some pieces of paper, literally used sticky notes to figure out what would go inside of each, found a printing press, had them print 20, 30 copies, distributed that to people that we thought were within the target market, got feedback, and then essentially threw up a website to take orders for our first ever issue, which was October 2017.
Oh my gosh.
And what's interesting about that is both Joe and I have a background in software development. I studied computer science, and he taught himself how to code. So unlike a lot of people who used Squarespace or Shopify or other e-commerce platforms, we decided to code things ourselves to integrate with Stripe and get those orders originally, which in retrospect was probably not the most scrappy way of doing things. We've since ported over because we had fulfillment issues from that. But yeah, that's kind of how we started, just getting the basic steps done and knowing that we could iterate from there on out.
I love that. I love that. It's very similar to how Stephanie and I started our business.
Yeah.
You just have to start and test
Exactly.
and grow and learn from there. And sometimes if you spend too much time planning and overthinking, you'll just never get started.
There. Yeah.
So one thing I really love about the Silk Sonder journal is that they're very personalized, they're very customizable. Can you go into a little bit more detail about how the content for each month's journal is picked and like what users can expect?
Sure. So when we started, we kind of, like you said, just were ready to test. And so we made some educated guesses on what we thought people would like every month. But from the personalization angle, what we've really tried to do is collect data and feedback at scale from all of our customers, aggregate that, and then continually evolve the product. So for example, now you see this gold coil wire binding. When we started, we had saddle stitch binding, and with some feedback and some tweaks to our product, we were able to evolve with that. The individual personalization is kind of our long-term vision. So what we've begun to do is ask our customers to give us feedback specifically on the product itself, what they wish there was more of and what they wish there was less of. So we can start collecting data on an individual basis, but also trying to understand what life stage are our customers in so that we can figure out, oh, you're a new mom, so how does your Silk Sonder look different today than it did, I don't know, a year ago, right? And so we're in the early phases of personalizing that specifically, but we kind of take feedback as a whole right now.
So what are some of the benefits that you're noticing from your customers who are journaling and planning?
Yeah. So we actually had this hypothesis, partially because of our own personal journeys with journaling. I was never a Dear Diary person, thought it was a waste of time. People told me to journal all the time, and I never did. And when I hit my first career and relationship where I saw this magical shift of power of pen to paper, and when I would sit down and write about anything and kind of gave myself these guided prompts from what I was reading, I was able to see that shift. And similarly, our customers are seeing that. So a lot of our customers, they either fall into one of two categories. They've never journaled before, so the guided prompts kind of encourage that and help them at least start. And now they're using those empty note spaces to write more things that our journals don't yet have. Prompts around that. And then we also have those users who are power journalers, power planners, who really rely on Silk Sonder to plan out their week. They love the monthly aspect of it because it forces them to spend a few minutes every month transferring something from the previous month that was incomplete into the next month. I think I have a background in computer science and have always been very reliant on technology, but nothing beats bringing pen to paper when it comes to elevating emotional health. So anxiety, stress, all of that, you can create an app, but that's not going to fix it at a basic level. So our customers seem to be really, really enjoying that encouragement from the journal.
I love that. I mean, even just going through it alone, you have like recipes, you have an Instagram spotlight at the end. It's so cool. How did you kind of decide what content you wanted to include originally?
Sure. So we loved this idea of creating a hybrid of a lifestyle magazine, a planner, and a guided journal. And so we wanted to experiment with ways of what kind of lifestyle content would somebody who's mindful but also into productivity and focus enjoy. And so a lot of that came down to choosing our inaugural tea theme line. What that means for your audience is each issue is inspired by a new flavor of tea every month. And what that allows Joe, my co-founder, and I to do is kind of tinker with the design and the aesthetics and have it match that flavor of tea, but also enter a new region of the world. So our November issue was Moroccan mint, and so we had an aesthetic that matched Moroccan tiles and kind of what you see with the lanterns and things like that. And then in the back, you have an Instagram feature of traveling to Morocco, so you get a little educated in that sense if you've never been, and then a recipe that goes along with that. So when it came down to the lifestyle content piece, it was more just, what is that person who is living this balanced life or wants to live this balanced life? What are some of the other things that they're reading or doing? And a lot of them are cooking more. A lot of them are interested in travel or other people's stories. And a lot of them are aspiring entrepreneurs. So we put entrepreneur features in the back sometimes. So yeah, just tinkering with all three of those, areas, planning and productivity, mindfulness and introspection, and then lifestyle.
Love that, love that. So of course we have to ask, how are you using social media to build the business?
Social media has been a godsend.
Yeah.
Before starting Silk Sonder, I had my personal brand, which was not a brand, and then I probably had zero experience when it came to Instagram. Instagram and Facebook have been our biggest drivers for exposure to our product, raising awareness around our brand, and ultimately leading to sales. I think the majority of our sales come from people finding us organically through Instagram. And so what we wanted to do was create an authentic following. I think originally I wanted as many followers as possible, but I quickly switched my mindset because ultimately that doesn't lead to sales. And so we kind of honed in on what we wanted our brand and aesthetic to be. And then we engage with our audience. We do giveaways every month. We try to do the polls to get feedback on what pieces of our journal are resonating. And I don't know, I think creating this authentic brand on Instagram and Facebook, but mostly Instagram, has been very, very helpful for us.
Totally. Your Instagram feed is beautiful, by the way. I love it. So what is your advice to other female entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I have a lot of advice.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of things. Number one, as women and as young women, we've been socially conditioned throughout our life to be perfect, get good grades, look good, sit a certain way, etc. And I think when it comes to entrepreneurship, you can't always be seeking perfection, because if you do, you're always going to procrastinate. It's never going to be good enough. You'll never launch on time. There will always be something that's wrong. And so my recommendation for female entrepreneurs is to leave that desire to be perfect aside and just take action, because the only thing that can overcome fear is action itself. And small progress, baby steps counts towards your longer, grander vision. If you wait to be perfect, you're never going to succeed. And that took a lot of hard unwiring on my part. So that's number one. And then the second thing is, don't feel this need to justify your idea, especially when it comes to pitching to investors, pitching to friends and family. Not everybody's going to understand the road that you're taking, and if you kind of waste your time trying to justify your vision, trying to explain why you're pursuing a certain thing, especially to your friends and family who aren't on that path with you, it's going to take you nowhere. So show versus tell, kind of lead by example. And that's, I think, the two pieces of advice that I would share with female entrepreneurs specifically.
I love that, and I absolutely agree with everything that you said. And we actually added lead by example as one of our own Socialfly values.
Oh my God, I love that. Yeah.
We just know how important it is to just lead by example. So now, actually, I think it's time for us to play it's not a game, but let's fill this out together. So currently, what would you say you're loving?
Currently loving.
There's a lot of things.
There's
I
so
love
many
right
things.
now.
Honestly, currently loving the opportunity to share my story. I think this is.
Oh, I love that.
It's a fun little thing we get to do nowadays. So, loving that.
What are you loving?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things I'm loving. Currently, I'm loving the show Younger. And I know that you know that. And I'm also currently loving jumpsuits. I love
jumpsuits. I'll second that. Yes.
I've loved them for a long time now.
You rock them.
How are you currently feeling?
I'm a little hot.
I'm a little hot.
It's getting hot in here. Enjoying.
I'm really enjoying summer.
Yeah, me too.
Enjoying the last days of summer for sure.
Likewise, anticipating.
The 4-day weekend.
Ah, that's a good one.
I'm anticipating
3 days.
the design for October issue, actually.
Ooh,
yeah, my
love
co-founder's
that.
finishing that up, so.
I'm anticipating the 3-day weekend as well, and fall, and all the planning that comes along with it. Wishing.
That it was cooler outside?
Yes, that's a good one. I'm wishing I wore shorts today.
We were talking about fitness classes before. I'm wishing I had unlimited fitness classes for free.
Hey, I know how to make that wish
Yeah.
come true. We'll talk about it
Coming soon.
later. Reading.
I'm reading Ray Dalio's book, Principles.
I just downloaded, after a conversation I had yesterday, what was it called? How to Win Friends, and what is it
Oh,
called?
I know this
And
one.
influence people?
Yeah,
Yes, that
Yeah.
book. I'm not reading it yet, but I will.
I'm reading Judd Apatow's book, Sick in the Head.
Watching.
Okay, confession.
Don't say it.
My
What is it?
sis- I've been trying to watch Bachelors in Paradise.
I thought
Okay,
yours
that's
was-
fine.
Okay, is that fine? Is
Yes,
that allowed?
yes.
All right. Well, that's a confession for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a guilty
Everyone
pleasure.
watches that.
Oh man.
I'm watching Younger.
I'm watching Insecure.
Okay, and then planning.
Planning the rest of the year's issues for Silk Sonder, so we can get those out.
Ooh. Planning SocialLIVE for the rest of the year.
We'll be planning for 2019 very soon, and probably our holiday party.
Yes.
Ooh, how do I get an invite to that?
You're invited.
Well, figure me out. You're invited. Rule says you're invited, and I say too. All right, so where can everyone follow you?
Yeah, so you can personally follow me at my own handle at Meha Agrawal, and my company at Silk and Sonder, SilkAndSonder. And yeah, I guess you can check us out on our website as well, and I'll leave a promo code with you guys so that
Yes,
people can
perfect.
order.
And remember to share this episode, comment below for your chance to win the September Silk and Sonder Journal. That's all we have for you guys
Thanks,
today.
everyone. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
next week.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.